Okay, everyone, welcome to another session of Control+M Presents. Thank you so much for joining us today. As a reminder to everyone who's attending, we are recording this session, so you're all muted. When Ignacio gets around to question time at the end of the presentation, you'll have to remember to unmute yourself to ask questions. Today we're going to talk about Plex's advanced supply chain planning tool, also known as DemandCaster. It's a really powerful tool. It's fully integrated with Plex, and we've seen it make some significant improvements at our clients. Ignacio Zuniga is going to be doing today's presentation. He's been with us since 2021. He came to us directly from Plex, and he's been a terrific addition to our team, not only because of his deep understanding of both DemandCaster and Plex finite scheduling, but also as a Mexican citizen, he is able to deliver Plex training sessions in Spanish. So Ignacio, I don't want to take any more of your thunder away or use any more of your time. Go ahead, take it away. I'll put myself on mute.
Thank you, Patty. So we're going to talk today about DemandCaster. DemandCaster, as Patty said, is a tool that it's being designed by Plex, and it's on top of Plex. So it's not a module that you will be ready to open within Plex. I think there's a link in there that we can actually go there and click it, but it's not inside Plex. It goes to a different website, and we do have a different feeling and a way of seeing the things within DemandCaster. So today we're going to be talking about what is DemandCaster, what is DemandCaster data stored in, advanced planning module, requirement plan module. There's two different modules in here, and additional modules as we can see that are included in our subscription. And after that, we're going to talk about we're going to have questions. I will go through all this agenda, and I will go through the tool itself. I will show you data, real data that I just prepared for you guys today. Okay, so what is DemandCaster? DemandCaster, it's a module that will help us out in getting out the best inventory for us, the best inventory levels for us for each part that we have in our PCN, right? It will keep us in having, if we have too much or too little inventory, we will be able to know, and DemandCaster will keep us out of that, right? There are several variables here that it will help us out in doing the math within DemandCaster that will be taking us a bit too much of inventory, or it's taking us a little bit less inventory than that. For example, replenishment lead time. If it's a very high lead time for us for a component to have, we will have more inventory. DemandCaster will calculate more inventory to have, because it takes a lot of time to get that component or raw material into the plant. Again, all of these variables that are being used, as high as they go, our inventory levels will go higher. If the demand for example, it's lower than that, it will keep us on optimal inventory levels, and it will keep us going lower on those inventories for us, right? For example, one of the biggest thing that I love from DemandCaster they have is the customer service level. That, for example, it's something that Plex does not have at all. Any of these variables, Plex does have it, right? This is only driven by DemandCaster. So the service level, for example, we can have inventory service levels that will take us and let us know that if we have a higher service level, it's going to keep us more inventory, because every time that a customer comes in, it will just go there and say, hey, we do have inventory for them, right? That's a high inventory level that we may have, and that will be showing up in there. So this is the kind of stuff, this is the kind of different data that we can have within DemandCaster, and it's going to be doing some calculations for us using these variables. Where is the DemandCaster data stored in? So most of this data, it's in Plex, right? So like part numbers, descriptions, safety stocks, pack quantity, minimum order quantities, right? And you just heard me say that some of these calculations comes from DemandCaster, right? So there's data that could be stored either or. So it could be stored in Plex or it could be stored in DemandCaster. So we need to choose which one are we going to be using. And we can choose a lot of different things. I'm going to show you a little bit more later of that data, how it's coming up, how is that showing up, and how can we keep that information in both environments. The data, it's uploaded every night to DemandCaster through a routine that runs at night. It makes an extract from the Plex environment and puts it up in DemandCaster. So if we go to DemandCaster today, yes, it is 1 day off. Just remember, this tool, this DemandCaster tool, it's not a tool for doing things for today or for tomorrow. It's a planning tool. It's doing 4 things for next week, 2 weeks ahead, 4 weeks ahead, right? It's not a reaction tool that we may use. If you need to do anything in Plex, if you know that you need to have a purchase order being created and you need it now, don't wait till the DemandCaster tells you. You can do it right now. You can go to Plex and do it. So everything that we're going to be doing in the DemandCaster is just planning ahead. Okay. Some of these tasks, we can run it against the uploaded data, and we can automate these tasks within DemandCaster, right? And as I said before, if we have some items that need to store some data by its own, very like a specific data for this item only in DemandCaster, we can save that too. So that makes a very special item to be used like that, right? In Plex, we only have one way of doing things within items, right? It's a Plex way. In DemandCaster, you can have it different ways to do it against different items, right? So advanced planning. Advanced planning, it's a module that it's an optional module. You don't have to have it. This is the one that creates all the forecast for us. It's an application that help us out in processes like SNOP, SIOP, and IBP, and it includes the event planning, the scenario planning, the approval plans. So there's a lot of things in it that will help us out for it. We can plan against some hierarchy on the demand plan. We can build up our own hierarchy in our system. And there's a lot of flexibility that comes with it, right? This one has different things that we can use, like the demand plan. It will tell us out based on the history on the sales side. It will tell us, it will create a forecast for us. It will tell us how's the demand for that. After that, we can approve that. Then we can go and to that demand plan, we can supply. We can go to the supply plan. The supply plan will tell us how are we going to be supplying that demand plan, right? And after that, if we are happy with it, we can do the approval of it. I will show you that in the DemandCaster module itself. Okay, and this is only for forecasting data. Now, requirement plan. Requirement plan, it's the core of the business. If the core is the core of DemandCaster, right? This is the advanced MRP that Plex told us about, that we have, right? If you use DemandCaster, forget about MRP and PRP screens. DemandCaster, it's a one screen that has it all, right? And we can give that special treatment to some of our items, okay? If, for example, in Plex, we don't have make-to-order items, right? We only have make-to-stock items. and we need to keep up with certain data for building out of stock our inventory that we're going to be having. Well, DemandCaster can be built up and make to order, and DemandCaster can have on a stock item, we can have to use forecast for that. So in this, we will have two sections. Both sections that we're going to be seeing up today is going to be the item selection interface. That's going to be having all the items that we have, all the different data that we can handle for each item, that we can switch on every single item, and we can have like a configuration for the most of it, for the most of the items, and then we can have just a special configuration for those items that are really important for us or really behave different in our production. And the planner action. Planner action, it's the one that tells us do something, right? You need to buy, you need to make, and it will tell us right away in one screen, will tell us, hey, do this job, hey, buy this item, right? And not only that, this DemandCaster, it's connected to Plex. So we configure that. So when you click on that create job, create that replenishment order, for example, it really does create that order for us in Plex. Okay, or it really does create that purchase order for us in Plex. So it's really cool what we can do with this module, and at the end, it will send out all that information for us in Plex as a result of the usage of DemandCaster. Okay, so this is just going, just talking about a very high level about these modules. And I'm going to also show you this one that is going to be our analytics part of DemandCaster. DemandCaster has these 5 different modules: classification analysis, forecast analysis, lead time analysis, stocking analysis, and order point calculation analysis. All those 5 modules also run within DemandCaster, and it could tell us, I'm going to show you that too, a little bit more about our items. Plex will not do this. Plex will not create a classification analysis for us or lead time analysis. DemandCaster will do for us based on the time that we are spending on a job for us, based on the time that we place an order, a purchase order, and receive that from our supplier. It will tell us, well, it's you have a 5 days lead time on your Plex, but I'm calculating that it's not a 5, it's like a 15-day lead time. So if you want to go back and change that in Plex, or if you want to start using the one that you have in your in DemandCaster, you can start using that one. So there are different things here that I will show you in just a second when we go to the tool and start talking about all these different data. These are the modules that are going to be showing up, and let's go now to DemandCaster. This is just the top of the iceberg, right? We're just talking very briefly of what we can do within DemandCaster, and now I'm going to show you a little bit of it. Let me just switch to my DemandCaster session. So here is my CM Colo PCN that I'm using. This is the part that I'm using right now, okay? We'll come back to this one. I'm just going to show you that on DemandCaster. DemandCaster, as you can see, it uses a different URL. It logs in like an IAM application. So we just need to go through IAM and click on it, and it will open up for this, right? It has its own security, different security. You will have to, or we will have to build that up in DemandCaster to have a different security for us, and we will have to have the users also that they can access DemandCaster. It's not like something open for everybody, okay? As you can see, this tasks, this is the data upload screen. It tells me when it was run, who did run it, and I did all this stuff. It's doing automated. Like you can see that same time, 2:52 a.m. Don't believe I'm waking up to do that. The data hub is doing that for us every morning or every night. I did this one. I'm guilty of that. I did this one today for us. I did add some data, and I add some additional data for customer orders, so we can see a little more history for us. This is just showing me what was data it was loaded or not. It tells me if it's completed or not, and it can show me also a log. If I go to a log, it will show me every single file, and it will show me how was that completed, satisfactory or not, every single information. Okay. This on this side, this will show me. This will show me the Plex DemandCaster data, and it will show me the modules itself. But if I click in any of those, I can open up the different components of that modules. Again, this is something that you may have access to it or not if you are if you have the rights to do it. For example, this one is not something that every user has access to it. In this case, I do have access to it. Advanced planning, for example. This is the module that I told about that we were using to have forecasting modules, to have forecasting data, okay? This is very high level. This is only telling me, based on the hierarchy that I'm using, I can use company, I can use customer, I can use item. I am only seeing one part number. It's the same part number that I was using on my Plex, ST-9870. And it's telling me if I click in here, I will be able to see data like current sales, like current shipments. I can see on the plan data here. It will bring up a bunch of different charts that it will tell me sales order, actual orders, shipments, statisticals. And if you see, when I hover over, it just like mark it up. But if I want to hide it, I can just click that off, and it will change that graph for me and show me different data, or the data that I don't need to see it hides it up. I can see the data that is showing up here in units. I can see also as in prices. I can see as a revenue. So there's a lot of well, cost of goods sold. There's a lot of data that is valuable for me on using DemandCaster. This is only being on plans. You can change this data too if that's needed, right? If the number does not match with the data that you have on your head, probably you can just change that numbers and start building that up differently. You can have the scenario plans, right? What if something happens, right? What if I sell more? What if I win that program within that automotive? What if we sell food and we give away some food or an extra product with that package or with that case, right, of food and beverage could be. So this is a what if scenario that you can plan, and you can say, yes, I want to do that. And the demand plan will get updated, and the supply plan will work forward with it, right? Supply plan will show me that kind of information and will show me how is that working. I'm going to hide this one so we can see a little more on the screen. It will show me a little bit more on the screen. It will show me that data in here of what I'm using, and then I can go to a plan approval and say, yes, that's what I want to do. Approve that plan. And when I approve that plan, that will go directly to my requirement plan. That's the next module, right? This is the core of DemandCaster. So again, this is my core business. This is my the most important part of it, right? I'm going to show you. I don't want to go through all my part numbers. You may have 400 parts. You may have 18,000 parts, right? And you can just do some filtering, and it will just show me that part number. And this part number, this filtering, will remain in all screens that I'm going to be going over. So if I go here and I say, yeah, I want to know about this part number, and I can click in here and see the details of this part number. So it tells me the data that we just see on the on our PCN, right? Part number, name, it's an active part, and it's a manufactured part. So if I go back, I can go see here the part number, the description. This has a forecast. This forecast is coming from the advanced planning module, right? These have a safety stock. This safety stock could be coming from Plex or not. It could be calculated by DemandCaster. I do have a reorder point. I do have a lead time. The lead time, you can see that's a manufacturing lead time that comes directly from Plex at this moment. This one is a transfer lead time, and this is the total lead time. This is the sum of these two. And this is also our calculated lead time. Okay, this is the calculation that DemandCaster does for us. So if there's no change, it will show that data for us. Make item or buy item, order item or stock item. So we have this kind of different things that we can tell the system. Now it says here the pack, it's 1,000 a pack in pieces, and you can say the minimum order quantity is 3,000. These comes from Plex at this point. We can change that too if that's needed, but these come from Plex. If I go to Plex and I go to my part number, there are some fields in here. Standard job quantity, 1,000 pieces. Minimum job quantity, 3,000 pieces. Lead time, 1 week. Okay? So that is the kind of information that's stored in here that it could come to DemandCaster and show us. Here is showing me up, for example, in this chart, all the different sales that I got, all the customer orders that I had, right? And this is the future orders coming on. Okay. Now, if I scroll down a little bit, this is where the fun starts. It starts showing me up my starting on hand. This is my inventory that I have on hand. And this is, we have two types of demand, independent demand and dependent demand. Independent means that it's a sales order. And if I hover over, it tells me, hey, you are selling this product for this customer on this date on this amounts. By the way, I am past due on those, right? But if I can go and hover over in any of these ones, and I can see when I'm due for that customer and what's the sales order I'm having up open. Okay. It also tells me, hey, if it's a dependent demand, it comes from a parent. It's very similar to what we have on MRP and PRP, right? Forecast. This will tell me the forecast that I have for each week. I have a week here bucket. I can also have a day bucket if I need to. It will tell me the total demand for this one, and it will tell me the on-hand, ending on hand, right? And this is just the suggested quantities. It tells me, hey, you should build up 11,000 pieces for complying this demand. And this is because, let me just hide that chart. This is just because minimum order quantity, 3,000, right? It complies with a pack of 1,000, yes. So I can build up this one. But every time that I need something, it will let me know that I need material to produce. I can choose to build up this one or more if I need it. And after that, if I accept the suggested order quantity, it will tell me, hey, your inventory at the end is going to be 2,593 pieces. Okay, so it's going to be telling me this kind of data right away. If I scroll down, I can see up to 52 demand, up to 52 weeks of demand, as I have it right now, 52 weeks. And at the very, very bottom, it will tell me some history, right? Who am I selling the most on this part? Apparently, this is the only customer that is buying this part for me. But it will tell me little history and who are the the biggest customers on this part, and then everyone else, right? And you can see here that it's telling me past months, that is telling me the data, the actual demand that they have, and it goes all the way up to 3 years. If I have that information, if I have that data. Okay, so I just told you in a very brief how that it's coming up from Plex to DemandCaster. Now let's treat this one as a very special item, right? If I go here into options, we can override the settings for that item. So the system settings could change for that item. And that could be meaning forecast settings. It could be meaning time fence, requirement planning, right? It could be safety stock. I talk about this one, that this is one of my favorite ones, service levels, right? The system has a 90 service level. Hey, I want to have a 95, or I want to have a bigger one, a very bigger one service level, right? Safety stock. How do you want to handle the safety stock? Oh, this one is coming from the system settings, that is coming from the ERP, but I can use standard deviation to calculate that, right? I can use days on forecast, there's going to be 204 pieces, or I can use on total demand, there's going to be 438. So there is a bunch of different things that I can do just for this item. It will not change anything in any other place, but just for this item. Okay, I believe that. Okay, again, lead time settings that I can use for. So the ERP is telling me 7, system calculated is saying right now 0, but I can use a user defined as 15, for example, and I can change that right now for this item. Okay, so this is the kind of information that makes it an item or a part treatment as very special, right? I don't want to be this part to be treated as the others. This is a very special part. And this is also where we can specify if it's a make or a buy item or not, and the stocking type, if we want to have it make to stock or make to order, right? You know that when we put an item to make to order, it will only be built when an order is placed from a customer, right? We will not keep a safety stock. We will not be seeing any forecast for that part. So that's the only way that we're going to be building or buying that part is going to be doing that for when we do that, when we have that make to order. Okay. Other thing in this screen that is really cool to have is that we have a BOM panel. So it tells me, if I hover over there, it tells me the part number that I'm building up, the part number that I'm going to be using. This is another part that's a make part also, and how that part is being made by two. It could be buy items here, for example, and I can go through that, click here, and go to that part number, and it will tell me, hey, we got 143,000 on our inventory, and you will be using the dependent demand. You will be using 7,000. We have no problems. Go on, right? So, and we can go back again to that if we need to. So it's something that it's adding value to us in here, and it's giving us that option for making it that item special and seeing all the information that we need to see just on one screen. Now this is by part number. If I have the information on the top of my head, and I know my parts and I know my requirements, there's no need that I need to go every single day through all this process on every single part, right? Only when that part is just a little bit off, right? And then let's go to the planner action. Planner action, it's telling me, and you can see this too. I place the filter in ST and it keeps it that way, right? I didn't do anything else. It just keeps it that way. And it's just showing me here, again, only that item needs. And it's telling me, hey, you have some stuff to do here. You need to make. This is an action to make. This is a job we need to build up. This is urgent. Okay? Oh, I didn't know it was urgent, right? So it can tell us, hey, this is an urgent requirement. So, okay, why is that urgent? We got stock out. We don't want to be stock out of this item. So you should be ordering now. If you order now, you will have a due date of 5/14. You have to order at least 3,000 pieces. Okay. So if I hover over here and I click on that, I can select a different date if I need to. I can select a different amount if I need to. And in this case, I have a lot of PCNs related to it. So that's also another plus. We can have a bunch of different PCNs in just one DemandCaster node. Okay, but this one is only based on a Control+M colo that I'm using here. So this is the one I'm going to be building up. If this is a supply part, a buy part, it will show us a bunch of different suppliers, right? So I can say, yes, I approve it. So it's approved, right? I click on this one, select it, and I approve the order. Okay? So it's going to be turning blue. It's blue already. Okay? I can select this one, and I can create an replenishment order. So take a look at this. It will turn on light green. This light green means pending to transfer, right? It's already sent, but I need to refresh. You can see here at the top, it says the order is already sent. When I refresh, it's going to be turning on dark green. Dark green means we did it, right? And if I go to the Plex order log in here, I can see all the data, right? This is not something you need to see, but it will tell us the job number, that this is what DemandCaster request, this is what the response on Plex has, and this is the job number order that we got. So if I go to my Plex and I go to the job manager and I go to the job number 234, there it is, my part number, 3,000 pieces. And if I go to my edit job, it will tell me, hey, yes, 5/14, right? 1,000 pieces, minimum job 3,000. And this is going to be telling me automated job by the master schedule. Okay. So that's the result from DemandCaster going to Plex. Now, I know I have a couple of minutes, so I'm going to go through analytics. So again, you saw that this keeps the filtering. I'm going to take that off so we can see the whole list. This will tell me, hey, part numbers, business importance, right? So I'm going to just tell you the biggest things on it. The business importance, right? A, B, C, D materials. That's going to be having us a real impact in their forecast. This is going to be telling us if it's a forecast, it's an item, its forecast value, forecastability is high or low. If it's good, if we have a standard deviation or not, that kind of things, right? History type on the automated forecast algorithm used, right? Calculation on the lead times, right? So this is the lead times that we have. This is the ERP lead time, and this is the calculated lead time, right? So it will tell us a little bit more about our part numbers that we're using. Again, stocking, the average turn that we may have based on that, current on hand in money, current on hand on pieces. So all that data comes from our Plex environment, and the order points like safety stocks that we need to have. This total safety stock is coming from our ERP 900, and you tell us safety stock, it's coming from your ERP. If we have a different treatment for them, we will have it will tell us like standard deviation or forecastability or demand that's going to be telling us how much of that is going up to be showing up in here. Okay, and this last one, it's a review. It just gives us a summary of every single thing that I went through the through all this analytics data going through. Okay. There are several other things that we may that are very valuable in here. But again, this is just like the top of the iceberg on DemandCaster. Okay. I think that's it for me. Do you have any questions that I may answer?
Thanks, Ignacio. I just want to remind everyone you need to unmute before you ask questions. It's a lot to cover. I would imagine some folks have some questions about in general where it's been successfully used. Has anyone been working with Plex at all? Chris, you got a question?
Yeah, thank you, Ignacio. That was great. I am curious if DemandCaster, first of all, I have actually used DemandCaster in the past. We had it for about a year. It's a very powerful tool, I found. Our business simplified a little bit and we stopped using it. But what I am curious is if DemandCaster has the ability to kind of work outside of Plex in a fashion that allows you to put in essentially what would be purchase orders for a finished good, and then go and view what would be the MRP, the equivalent of MRP for the needed raw materials and packaging for those finished goods.
Good question. Good question. Yes, like MRP and PRP, it will require both. It will require raw materials. It will require all the needs for it. For example, let me just go back and forward a little bit. Plan.
And to clarify, I guess what we're looking to replace is placing jobs and POs in Plex that then need to get moved around or edited or deleted. If that could all be done in a simple fashion in DemandCaster, that would be really helpful, so that we can see when the finished good is expected, and then all of the needs for anything in those bombs to produce those finished goods.
Yep, I get it. For example, this one, this BOM panel, these colors are telling me that probably one of those, there's a red, a yellow, and a green. Probably one of those does not have a job. For example, this one that may not have a job. Even if we have materials, the color means something that we can have or not those materials. Probably we don't have a job for this one that can cover the whole amount that we're going to be building up. So this is going to be telling us something. Also here, when I hover over, it will tell me the jobs I have created. Okay, and this will be requiring the materials. This will be requiring the purchase orders. Those purchase orders will be showing up in our planner action, and that planner action will tell us whenever we are expecting that product. And if we don't receive it when we were expecting that, it will tell us you're late.
Okay. I guess what I would really need to see is an example where you put in basically a PO or supply for a finished good, and then the subsequent appearing of the need for the components. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well,
and I don't know if we would do that separately, offline, or what, but it's I feel like it's a unique thing to our business that we are asking for, but it also seems like it should be a fairly common need, I guess, contradicting myself, of just seeing where if you place a bunch of POs out, let's say till the end of the year, then what are your needs for all of your bomb components?
Right.
And Plex we haven't found an easy way to do that in Plex, and I'm wondering if DemandCaster has that ability.
Yeah, it could. Everything that you require on your finished goods is going to be handling out all the components. It's going to be making the explosion of components, and it's going to be showing up as a buy item like this one, for example. And it's going to be telling you if it's urgent or not. If we don't buy it on time, well, we're not going to be able to fulfill our needs, right?
Okay. So could you, and I'm sorry, this will be my last question because I'm sure other people have questions. Could you essentially put in what I'm calling purchase orders for finished goods, then go to this screen, I suppose, and filter by supplier. So like, let me look at what I need for all my, packaging, and then raw materials, and then,
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes,
it can kind of mimic MRP in that sense.
yes, but the thing is, on this tool, you have those special treatment items, special things that you can handle differently. For example, if you see in here, even if I have this one to be a make item, I have an alternate supplier, so somebody else can make it. Not only my CM Colo Control+M building, but my CM Colo main building can build that too. So again, it's a bunch of different things that we need to probably talk on separate, probably on a separate session. But there's a lot of things that we can handle as DemandCaster for it.
Okay.
For your needs. Yeah.
Great. Thank you. That's super helpful. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Terrific question, Chris. Appreciate it. Anyone else got any questions?
Yes. Ignacio, I know that you know Melody very well. She unfortunately signed up for this but had a conflicting meeting with our CEO today. But there was one question I wanted to ask on her behalf. When it comes to the finite scheduling, that basically with DemandCaster and as it kind of rolls into Plex, does that also give her any indications of potential issues with lead times, shortages, things that you were talking about where you can put in those parameters? So when she schedules a job, it gives her kind of like a ding that there might be an issue.
That's a great question. That's a great question. We have this is not finite. This is just telling us what we need to make. This is exactly the same as PRP does, right? It tells us, hey, we need to fulfill customer demands, or we need to fulfill minimum quantities in our inventory. We need to have these materials in our stock, right? So we will create a job. When you create that job, well, if you have finite, that job is dropped into finite, and that finite process is different. It's a different module, finite, but it's the job is taken after it's created, and it goes to finite scheduling. I heard on the roadmap of DemandCaster that that's something that could come up into a finite scheduling module into DemandCaster, but I don't have any additional data like dates or when or who or any other data based on that, right? That's something like it's just like a thought that they might have.
Gotcha. Okay, so it's still going to be independent of them. So okay.
Terrific. Well, did I hear another question? I think we're bumping up on the edge of our time here, Ignacio. If you want to return to your PowerPoint. Ignacio, as always, great job. Your passion for DemandCaster is so clear listening to you. To the folks who are on this call, if you're interested in learning more about DemandCaster as a product and how it can specifically help your business, please reach out to Ignacio or I. We'll get the ball rolling for you. So once again, thanks for joining us. I will be processing and uploading this file to our YouTube channel this afternoon, so check it out. I saw Jill put in the chat that there's about 80 videos out there. If you like what you see, give us a thumbs up or subscribe and spread the word. These are no cost, no obligation, and they're available to everyone in Plex. So share the news with the rest of your company. Our next session is going to be May 22nd on engineering change requests. LB Bell's going to be doing that. So hopefully Jill will get that invite out within the next couple days. Have a great day, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Ignacio, once again, terrific job. Thank you so much.